Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. So here I dug up an article I think was interesting and I wanted to share it with you guys. And let me know in the comments before I get into it of what you think about this. Um, I tell you, when these Democratic Party are corrupt, they are really corrupt. This article talks about former President Joe Biden and an Autopen that allegedly was being used to endorse his signature on documents while he was president. And of course, we all know, going back to his presidency, if you had any kind of common sense, you know that you could tell in his first year of presidents of office that he was having cognitive difficulties. But anyway, without further ado, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play this article or this video. It's Real America's Voice that's interviewing this attorney regarding the pen. And let me know what you guys think about it. This is quite interesting on how dirty and corrupt and how the Biden administration misled the American people during Biden's office and term. So without further ado, here's the article.
All right, why don't you take me through what you found here, this Autopen situation? What do you think's going on here?
So we've been tracking for a while the fact that President Biden clearly was not all with it, and that it got progressively worse over his presidency. So we've been looking at how do we show that, what indicia of that would be. So we obviously litigated against Biden a lot when he was in office. We were pursuing and are still pursuing the tapes of his disastrous interview with Special Counsel Hur, the elderly man with a poor memory, as one of the reasons that he didn't get charged for retaining classified documents. And we've heard that tape demonstrates the fact that he was an elderly man who was not altogether with it. So we've been pursuing that angle. Another angle that we were taking a look at was, well, in light of what Speaker Johnson said, in light of how little he seemed to know about what was actually going on in his administration, ostensibly under his name, was looking at the signatures. And what we saw was that it appears that there are a lot of documents that should have wet signatures, normally have wet signatures, would have a wet signature under President Trump, be it 45 or 47, looked as though they were Autopen, and there was a very real...
Sorry about that, but for those of you that don't know, a wet signature is an actual live signature from the person that's signing the document versus the stamp signature.
Real variance between these signatures. So we looked at them all and we thought, and we said, well, that would make a lot of sense. Either you're auto-penning to hide a cognitive decline that would be inherent in the handwriting. For example, if you look at one we think he did sign himself, which is Hunter's pardon, the handwriting is shaky and has some marks that would suggest that. And then the broader question is, well, were his staff, who we knew were managing everything else, telling him what reporters to call on, telling him where to stand, telling him he had to stop talking to the press, were they just telling him, hey, we've got this great thing, auto-penning it, he didn't read it, didn't know what was in it, etc.?
Let me take you through a series of questions pretty quickly as we get to the bottom of this. So do you have a handwriting expert that says, yes, these are all auto-pen, or do you have an expert that says, yes, every single one of these signatures is the exact same? Because basically an electronic signature, an auto-pen, a computer is going to write it the same every time. Did you have one of those experts figure that out?
That's something we have underway, is talking to experts in these field. Another way you could look at it is there should be records ostensibly authorizing the use of the auto pen. So that's another question out there, but we're looking very actively at both of those avenues to further our inquiry.
So the auto pen is not necessarily illegal to use or would null and void these executive orders, or could it?
Oh, I think it definitely could. I mean, at the highest level, it is unclear if you can use the Autopen at all, even if everything else is above board. DOJ has said you can. A lot of people, including myself, think you can't, that you need a wet signature. I can tell you that President Trump, wet signature for something like a bill or an executive order, and I can tell you President Trump has never autopenned something like that.
Well, let me let me do this for you. We put this together for you, okay? So this is President Trump. We know this isn't an auto pen. Roll it, guys. All right, so this is him literally. I thought it was going to be a little bit different, but this is him literally going through a whole bunch of different, not quite as dramatic as I thought I was going to be, but that's him going through executive order after executive order. Clearly not an auto pen. So
no,
if you figure out that this was an auto pen, what is the next step? Are the pardons null and void? Do we just, one simple way would be to ask Joe Biden directly and say, did you sign these or not, correct?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think, that certainly could be on the table. I know there's been a request by the Attorney General of Missouri, Andrew Bailey, to the DOJ to investigate, and they could ask that question. I mean, I think if it was auto-penned without Biden knowing, it is clearly invalid. And I think there are a lot of people who agree with me that even if it was auto-penned with his knowledge or some variation of the knowledge, I know it's about natural gas, I don't know what else is in it, that it would also be invalid. And because the signature is an essential element of the act, be it in terms of legislation or be it in terms of the executive order, the legal theory is it's not just a routine ministerial act. It's significant. And that makes sense. I mean, let's get at the core of this. The core of this is the president actually competent in making his decisions? That's why there's the signature requirement. It's not something old anachronistic. And this happened before. I mean, when Woodrow Wilson was incapacitated at the end of his presidency, those around him dramatically downsized the presidency to cover it up. But there were a few orders that were signed by his wife, and that created legal headaches. Here we have the people around Joe Biden bragging about how they expanded the presidency the same time he was incompetent. So this is, I mean, I'll leave you with this on this. The history on this, you go back far enough, you can find an example where Henry VIII's will was auto-stamped and created an issue over the succession. The people that affixed the auto-stamp had to be pardoned for treason. That's how serious this was. So that kind of gives you an idea of what we're talking about here. It is potentially criminal. If you forge the president's signature, there's actually an argument it's treason if you do it with an auto pen without him knowing.
Sorry, guys, lost my mic. So there you have it, guys. What do you think about this story about this auto pen signature, and does it prove what a lot of us have been saying for the last 4 years during Joe Biden's presidency, that he was cognitively incompetent or incoherent to a lot of the things that was going on during his presidency? Be sure to like and subscribe and let me know in the comments section what you think. I just wanted to share this because this is something the mainstream media won't talk about or hasn't shared in terms of the relevancy of his presidency. And my opinion is if they find out and they investigate that his administration was stamping his name on a lot of these documents, then that's very concerning. That's very concerning. I don't know. Anyway, guys, okay, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. Be sure to like, subscribe if you like the content. I'm going to be putting up more content here. I know it's been a slow process for my channel, but we'll get her going here, full bore here soon. Anyways, thanks again. We'll talk to you later, and we'll see you on the other side.